All right, my friends, how are you today? Aaron here, talking about some astrology. It's been a while, it's been a hot minute since I've logged on and talked about the spinning musical spheres in the cosmos. So let's jump in and talk about it. We've got, this Neptune-Jupiter conjunction happening here. And that happened on the 13th exactly. I'll show you the chart. Neptune, Jupiter, they're still conjunct today. I've got this pulled up for Thursday around noon p.m. 24 degrees Jupiter, 24 degrees Neptune in the sign of Pisces. Let's talk about that for a quick second. Both of these are planets of expansion. Now, Jupiter is limited by the laws of Saturn. Neptune is not limited by the laws of Saturn. It's free to expand and go wherever it needs to go. So there's physical realities and there's physical laws that restrain or constrain Jupiter in its ability to expand. Now, Neptune has no limits, no borders, no boundaries. So Saturn is the boundary. How much air can we fit in the balloon before it pops, right? How much water can we fit in the jug? What rocks can we fit into the box? You know what I mean? This is Jupiter. How much the maximum amount of abundance that we can fill into this space before the capacity exists. Saturn is the capacity. So it's funny that, there's this, we're going to talk about Saturn in a minute as well. Because I haven't seen you guys in so long. I miss you. I love you. I've been doing a lot over here. So anyway, so we have two planets of expansion. Jupiter saying expand, expand, expand to our maximum capacity of our physical limits. Okay, how much knowledge can we shove into our brains in a day? How much, exercise can we fit in? How much whatever can we fit into a day, do or whatever? This is also dealing with, learning and philosophies and whatnot. And then Neptune's dealing with all kind of other esoteric aspects of our life. Dealing with faith, dealing with spirituality, dealing with hopelessness. And this is really important. Let me just touch on that for a second. So either way, we're dealing with expansion beyond borders, beyond limits, beyond boundaries. What are the possibilities of things? Now let's talk about hope and hopelessness for a second. Because both of these planets of expansion are in the sign of Pisces. And we can see as well, we have Venus here and Mars is about to be here as well. Mars is about to move into Pisces. Mars not super happy to be in Pisces. Venus absolutely adores being in Pisces. Because Venus is about what you love, want, and desire, things like that, material possessions and people. And this deals with limitless possibilities. There's no boundaries to love. There's no boundaries. Now, where Mars is about action, there's no traction here either. It's void space. So void space, this is where Jupiter and Neptune are. This, happens once. It takes 176 years, something like that, for Neptune to go around. So naturally, the last time Neptune was in Pisces, Jupiter met up with it, So it's not like, when we had the Saturn, Jupiter, or the Saturn conjunction up here, that was a big deal. Because both of those planets had been in Saturn, but not at the same space at the same time. Where this is like, this happens every time. It takes, it's about 16 years for this to get through, Neptune to get through, and it takes 1 year per sign. So Jupiter's always going to, connect with Neptune once every 12 years in whatever sign it falls into. Okay, so let's get back to like the what is this meaning and what are we feeling right now? Because that's the most important thing. So when we're talking about a space of nothingness, okay, this is our right brain, left brain, right brain, left brain. Pisces, Virgo. Virgo's left brain, analytical mind. Right brain, this is the void and possibility of nothingness, okay? Nothingness. So there's a point I'm saying that specifically, is because in a certain sense it is. This is a lack of definitive information. This is, again, possibility. And this concept that hope and hopelessness exist in the exact same space. And that is in Pisces, Neptune space. Because it's not a tangible thing. Hope and hopelessness, they're not tangible. It's not something you can reach out and touch. It's not a goal. It's not something you can write on your vision board. It's an emotion. It's a feeling. It's not something real. It's not something concrete, but yet these emotions, these feelings are very real. This is very confusing, very paradoxical times that we're in right now. So we have these two planets of expansion, and Venus is everything we love and want and desire in this place of possibility. And in the place of possibility, anything can go great. As well, anything can go wrong. So what we don't have is a lot of energy over here in Virgo, which is giving us definitive answers and concrete ground. So for the most part, let's look at this as far as logic, and let's look at this as emotions. This is our logical brain. This is our emotional brain. And if we're just simply looking here, now we know the moon takes about 2.5 days to get through a sign, and it's been chugging through Virgo the entire time of this. This is the full moon, if you will, of this conjunction. The opposition, not full moon, but opposition of this conjunction, which is kind of a big deal that the moon was in Virgo opposite of this energy at the exact same time that these two behemoths line up in the sky. Why? Because we have so much energy here lacking direction. When you're a feather in the wind, the world and its people will tear you apart. They will pull, if you're just a moldable piece of clay, if I sit here with an angry look on my face, it's only a matter of time before your face is like, what's going on? Or, it's getting intense. But if I sit here with a big old smile on my face, it being, silly or laughing, it's only a matter of time before you smile or laugh along with me, because whatever, that's the energy, the frequency, the buzz in the air. So we're very moldable. And when we have this energy of saying, there's nothing to mold. There's no energy to mold. There's nothing to push in anything. There's just possibility. And this possibility, this feather in the wind, has zero direction because we have no energy in our left brain of logic. Okay, so when we're generally thinking, going about our day-to-day life, this is really important. This is where the important stuff comes in. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen any other astrologers talking about what I'm about to share right now and about this specifically, because it's all about this like woo-woo crap astrology, that's just like, oh, the Jupiter and Neptune conjunction and it's butterflies and unicorns and like our spiritual growth. And like, who are you talking to right now that's just like, oh man, I am full of spiritual growth and abundance and joy? Like, no, dude, people are feeling it right now. Like, get out of this fantasy. That's part of this too, fantasy, of what this means, and really look around at human life. What is happening here? So we have so much energy on a day-to-day basis when we're moving and functioning. Okay, we have emotions, our emotional body, our emotional brain, and we have our logical brain. Now, our emotions can creep up there and really make moves on our logical brain, but for the most part, our logical brain wins. Our logical brain says, hey, this person's been a terrible person in my life, has wronged me time and again. Our emotional brain says, Aaron, you've done this before too. You've been there, you've done that. They're going through a thing. Give them another chance. Okay, this is this Virgo energy. Yes or no? Give them a chance. Yes. Emotions are telling me this. This is my emotional body. And now, okay, hey, this person's done this thing time and time again, and every time you open up and trust them, they do the same thing. My logical brain, my Virgo mind, yes or no? I'm sorry, I need to step back from this relationship. I need to step back from this right now. This isn't a good for us or where we're going or both trying to expand or trying to be. So it's just like we're making a decision based off of emotions. So right now what's happening is we have less of a logical voice in our minds because there is so much happening within the right hemisphere, Pisces, Jupiter, Neptune, Venus, and then Mars about to be in the next day. Okay, so we have a ton of energy that the emotional dialogue of the brain, of the body, is taking over that of the logical mind. So we can be feeling things. We have a voice inside of our head that might say, give up. You're a failure. There's no point to continue. This voice might be louder now than it has been maybe in years or maybe your entire life. And it's just like, whoa, we're feeling all of these emotions around this because this an expansion of our emotional mind. And we feel all kinds of ways. And this is scientifically proven that your right and left brain hemispheres of your brain can have completely different feelings about the exact same subject. Yes, cut this person off. They're terrible. They do this, 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 this. Forgiveness. You know, that's like the whole Pisces and Jesus thing. Forgive. That's right. It's astrology. It's Pisces. Forgiveness mind. You know. So we have so much energy going on right now, and the right side is not necessarily about forgiveness, but it's about possibilities and endings. Pisces deals with endings, conclusions. Well, this is a really big, long ending. And when you have a planet like Jupiter there for a year, you know, like when did Jupiter move into Pisces? It was in December, the end of December 2021. Now, generally, people, especially people in North America that you know, this is like moving into winter. It doesn't matter where you're at in the world. There's a general hype around that time of year. A general hype for, you know, people that, you know, celebrate the holidays and, you know, Christmas and all of this stuff and the solstice celebrations. And then we have, you know, the new calendar year. So there's a lot of like high energy there. But then as soon as the new year hit, it was just like, this has been a heavy week. This has been a heavy month. And it's just like, it's been a heavy year. Why? Jupiter, our planet of abundance and our planet of expansion, our planet of more of life, is in a place where it's saying more of what? More what? More confusion, more media, more people being put against each other, you know, and it's very, very confusing times. And there's a lot of paradoxes that exist within these times as far as what is right or wrong, okay? Those terms are a lot looser than we kind of give them credit for. I'm not going to get into like, you know, social, political agendas, but like right and wrong is very subjective. You know, and right or wrong is not only subjective, but it has to do with a time and a place. You know, and if we're not in that time and place, what was right or wrong really isn't up to us to decide or to judge. So there's part of that going on as well. So there's a lot of energy right now that is suggesting that our emotions, our emotional mind is overtaking that of our logical mind, of where it normally says, yes, I'm a successful person, or I get up and I do this every day, but my emotions are just towering over that. Okay, so this is an important time right now. If our emotions are tidal waving, our logical structure foundation that we are as a human being, it's to recognize these two minds. These two minds are us. It's okay. And to just be like, whoa, wait a minute. You know, do I really think this way? Do I really feel I'm never going to find love. I'm never going to be happiness. I'm never going to find an equal partner that cares about me and is an equal reciprocation and all that. You know, it's just like, do I really think that way, or is that how I'm just, you know, the wash of emotions I'm feeling right now? Or am I ever going to get out of debt? Or am I ever going to finish this? Or am I ever going to hit this thing? Or have I plateaued? You know, am I going to reach this next year? You know, it's just like all these possibilities, just one foot in front of another, seems very challenging right now. And it's okay. It might be. But we just got to keep focused on that and come back to our logic as much as we can, because we know that our emotions can take us for rides that are not real. This isn't grounded in logic. It's not grounded in reality. It's grounded in possibility, and in possibility, hope and hopelessness are in the same space. So, the positive side, Venus being there, we can add some joy, what can these possibilities turn into, you know, or can I twist this into a positive thing? You know, there's always the silver lining of things, I think, is important as well. And now the last thing I want to talk about here today is Saturn squaring the nodes. Now, when we look at the zodiac, you know, what's me, what's us, what's mine, what's ours? This is a simple way I like to look at that in the houses. And Taurus is what's mine, my foundation, these wonderful things that I have. Mercury's here, my things. Uranus is here, you know, switching up tradition as well, like, you know, foundation. Yeah. So the North Node here, 24 degrees of Taurus, meaning we're moving into this direction as a collective. Moving into this direction perhaps identifying what is ours. What do we need? What are the resources that we need? You know, and can we get those for ourselves? You know, there's still a lot of stuff of like working, not working. How should we be managing our lives? How can we survive? You know, can we survive? Who's keeping us warm in the winter if we're living in a cold environment? Who's going fishing? Who's planting the foods? Who's doing the work to keep us alive? You know, we're not supposed to work like this. Yeah, I know it's terrible, right? Having a job that keeps us alive. You know, but if that didn't exist, how would we survive? What is the most important things for us? And it's just like, well, food, shelter, you know, clothes is really comes almost second. You know, those things are far more important. Food, clean water, shelter. Primary things, you know. Anyway, so these are our comforts as well. Our comforts, are things that bring us joy. Collectively, what have we created? Look at the sky risers we have around the world. Look at the, you know, Coca-Cola, for an example. This is a conglomerate. This is a huge thing that we've created together. And it's not a necessity. We don't need Coca-Cola. We don't need this to survive, but we've created it in the world. And as a community, where Saturn is here, as a community, we are retouching on what our necessities are. And because the South Node is over here, and this is what is ours, what we've created, do we, you know, this is almost, let me bring this in a couple different ways here. What do we need? What is extra? All this stuff underneath the surface, Scorpio energy, greed and sexual energies, or you know, why am I bringing that up? For some reason, the image that's popping in my head right now is like these like crazy long fingernails. You know, it's just like, it's a fashion thing. It's beautiful and it's great. And it's like, we've created this, and we've created the idea that this is part of fashion and part of beauty, and these long nails, whatever, throughout history of time, whatever. How practical is that? If you need to go get, you know, if you're playing with your kids in the sandbox, how practical is that as far as living and necessity that goes with life? Not, you know, dogging on anybody for having long fingernails or whatever. It's something that popped into the mind of throwing out as an example. You know, what is necessary to where we're headed to, and what do we need to let go of? And we're at the crossroads right now, the precipice, this fulcrum point of Saturn and community, Saturn the authoritarian, and saying we need to make some serious choices about going down this path of the past, or trying to find a new future for us that's solid and grounded. Because over here, this is also like here, this is dealing with emotions. Well, how do I feel because I have these things? How do I feel because of this? Are we concerned more about, you know, I think I said this last time, about how we look? You know, is this more about how I'm presenting myself to the camera and how I'm making sure I'm looking to the camera so emotionally that I'm fulfilled is some, you know what I mean? It's like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And we need to wake up from this. And Saturn, the authority, the law that's coming in, is saying we're stuck between these two roads here. What's going on? You know, are we stuck in this emotional crap that's lingering of how we should look in doing something, or the feeling that we should get in this? It's like, you know what? Life's not easy, man. Life takes work. Life's not pretty. Life means, yeah, sometimes I got to get up and have dirt and sweat all over myself and to get the job done of whatever that is. If that means I need to garden, I need to garden. If that means I got to go out and bust my ass to work, then that means that, you know. And this idea that there's no hot, no cold, that everything just gets to be neutral in life all the time, and everything is just this smooth, easy sailing. It's out of control. And then how we're dealing with our emotions of this, you know, the authoritarian in the community, we're sitting back and we're saying, okay, so in another aspect, because emotions are so loud and so raging right now that the emotional body is taking over logics. So then the This is the crying kid at the store who wants the candy or whatever. And the parent is embarrassed that their kid's crying. They don't have money to buy the thing that the kid wants. The kid doesn't have enough logic right now or understanding that his mom and dad doesn't have the money for this, but I want it. So instead of the parent trying to reason with the kid, there's no logic involved here. Instead of the parent trying to be the authoritarian, which is necessary at either saying no or letting the kid cry, their embarrassment, okay, I'm just going to give you this thing, and maybe this is a temporary fix, this is a temporary Band-Aid, and when we get to the register, I'm going to take it away from you because I'm not going to pay for it there. Or we're just giving in, and we're giving in to the loudest emotional cry. And that can't happen. Respectfully, this is again saying this child, not a child, but an adult. I shouldn't be working like this. I don't need to do this. My emotions I shouldn't like this. And then we say, okay, as the authoritarian, okay, I'm in the community and I need to respect your emotions and your feelings and this, and you shouldn't work. So what's happening now is I'm going to have to work harder, and I'm enabling you and your emotions to do less. We're breeding weak. And I say that with a lot of love in my heart, because this is Saturn, which is the laws. Saturn is the laws. Doesn't matter if you're a good person, it's a bad person, if you believe in God or Jesus or Krishna or whatever, if you jump off the roof, laws of gravity are going to take over and you will come to the ground. And depending how high you were, meaning in meters or feet, not in it depends on the severity of what happens when you hit the ground. You know what I mean? These are laws. What happens when we give so much into this emotional, we're starting to lose balance. Okay, so these are just some things throwing out there that we haven't talked in a while. And again, I felt like I've been seeing a lot of woo-woo spiritual garbage astrology that's just like butterflies and unicorns, everybody. And it's just like, this is an amazing, it is an amazing time to be alive. It absolutely is. It's a joyous time to be alive. This is the first time we get to experience this together. We're creating this age of Aquarius together. We're going through all of these beautiful changes. So it is a magnificent time to be alive. But we're still going through growing pains, and to honor ourselves during those growing pains and to not deny it. You know what I mean? Like the sun and none of these planets skip any of this. And sometimes I'm on these message boards and I see people like, oh my God, Saturn's hitting this, or the Mars is going into my 8th house or whatever. And it's just like, yep, yes it is. And there's no reason to fear it. The zodiac, none of these planets skip a sign. They don't skip ahead a little bit because they don't want to deal with it. That's the human conditioning. That's us not wanting to deal with life and the abundance of ups and downs and ebbs and flows that it has with it. So it's like, don't deny yourself. These planets don't deny themselves of feeling every inch of space that they're moving through. So it's not denying ourselves. If we're feeling sad, honor that. What's going on in my sadness? There's an answer here. There's something within this for me to discover. And we're caught between, are we stuck so much on the past or what we had in the past that we're never going to get this again? Or can we truly break away from this past stuff, allow ourselves to sink into the positive aspects of this Jupiter-Neptune conjunction of positive possibility? There's a positive possibility that the future can be 1,000 times greater than any experience I've had in the past. That is a possibility. It is. But we have to allow ourselves to allow our minds to go there. We have to allow the balance of our left and right hemisphere to bring us into this place of peace, where we're not too high, not too low, but trying to ride the wave, and those bumps get a little bit less each time. Until the next bump in the road, my friends. Thank you for hanging out with me. I love you. I wish you enough, and I will see you soon.